Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andy Lawler, and it's my pleasure to host our second lecture for the year. What we like to do, folks who aren't members of the Knights, is invite leaders from the community in to bring us up to speed on the leading issues of the day. And it is indeed my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce this evening's speaker. We have with us tonight is our Superintendent of Schools, and I've had the very good fortune to work with her over the last 4 or 5 years on building issues, and I can tell you we are very fortunate to have her in Dedham. She is the epitome of a leader. She is smart, she listens, she is hardworking, she is dedicated to the kids in this town. She is tough when she has to be. She's not afraid to make a decision. And I like to think of her as our own Margaret Thatcher. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, and I'm going to embarrass June a little bit here tonight. We have a brother named Ronnie O'Shea who had you for French, I don't know, probably some years ago, and we were talking about you one night, and he told us that he used to have a schoolboy crush on you.
Is that right?
And he made quite an impression on Ronnie because he went out and married a school teacher. He married Polly O'Shea. But before June became the superintendent of schools, she grew up in Milton. She received her bachelor's degree from Emmanuel College here in Boston. She then went to Paris to get her master's degree. She studied at the Sorbonne, which I know to be a big deal because I dated a French major in college. The Sorbonne is like the Ivy League school of France, and she received her master's degree there. She then went into teaching. For 5 years she taught at, hang on, brush these notes just so I remember, Marlborough High School. And from Marlborough High School we had the good fortune to bring her into the then junior high school where she taught French for some 15 years. After which we appointed her, the town, as vice principal of the then middle school. She held that position for about 5 or 6 years, and then she was promoted to the principal of the middle school. And I remember a sea change in the middle school at that time. I remember people saying, hey, there's really good things going on at the middle school. And I believe she helped lay the foundation where the town was receptive to investing the $28 million to build a new middle school because such great things were going on in that building. In our wisdom, the school committee appointed her, and Dimitri's here, she's part of that committee, appointed her as the superintendent of our schools back in 2006, and she has served in that capacity in an exemplary fashion during these past 3 years. June will speak tonight about the strategic plan for the Dedham Public Schools, and in the context of talking about the strategic plan, she'll touch on a number of key issues that face us. And if folks have questions at the conclusion of her talk, she'd be happy to entertain them. So let's please give a warm Knights of Columbus welcome to June Doe.
Well, first let me again thank all of you for inviting me here this evening. It's a really great opportunity for me to get to know you and to share with you a little bit about what's happening in the schools today in Dedham. I think it's fair to say, I want to emphasize that my undergraduate education at Emmanuel really probably formed my values and beliefs in what good teaching is. And that pretty much governs how the district goes forward. I should mention to an interesting side note that my assistant superintendent, Cynthia Kelly, is also a graduate of Emmanuel College. We didn't plan that, it just so happens that that's how it turns out. So as Andy just told you, 3 years ago I had the good fortune to be given the opportunity to become the superintendent of schools in Dedham. And as some of you might remember, at that time when I was appointed superintendent, I was the only administrator in the central office. The group that had been in the office had all departed for other positions, and I was appointed superintendent with the daunting task of trying to build a team. And although at the time some people might have viewed that as a hurdle to get over, it was really an opportunity for me to look out there and bring on board really talented, dedicated people for the system. And I just want to tell you a little bit about who the people are that I work with. I have a business manager, Michael LaFrancesca. He's been with us now 3 years. And in my opinion, he's a young man who is the best in business managers that the school district has had in the past 25 years. He's a hands-on business manager who has learned pretty much every facet of the school department, our daily operation. We work very closely together. It makes a huge difference when you have a business manager who understands where every dollar is going and how we have to stretch those dollars to make them work for the maximum benefit of our students. So he's one fine addition to the team. I also have as one assistant superintendent, Cynthia Kelly, who is a Dedham teacher. She's been in the district 30 years, has taught in each of our elementary schools, a middle school administrator, and taught at the college level. And an added value that Cindy brings to the team is the institutional knowledge that she brings. There are very few of us left in Dedham who have had the knowledge and experience of what works well, what we've done in the past that we should keep, and what are the initiatives that we've started and learned did not work so well, and the mistakes not to repeat. So the three of us make up the central administration, and we also have a new addition in Kathy Goudreau, who is the Director of Special Education. We're going to talk a little bit more about special ed as we go along. Kathy is an internal appointment, and in addition to the people in the central office, and by the way, we're now located at Dedham High School. You might remember that the central administration had been out at the Dexter School for several years, and in year 2 of my administration, we successfully renovated a section of the high school and moved all of our team over there. So we are nicely located amidst our students at Dedham High School in the social studies wing. It's a pleasure for me because every student that passes me, if they've come up through our system, they're a student I had at the middle school, and the same for Mrs. Kelly. So it makes it for a nice relationship, and it's a real blessing to be able to see how those students develop from when you meet them first as 6th graders to now as 9, 10, 11, and 12th graders. We have 7 school buildings that we are managing, and of those 7 principals, I have appointed 5 of them in the past 3 years. And we are about to appoint a new elementary school principal at the Green Lodge School. Mrs. Cummings, the principal there, has just retired, and we are starting a process of bringing on board a new elementary administrator there.